Hello everybody, happy day. I'm Uma Devi from Trivandrum. I'm going to talk today on COVID-19 and its impact on mental health. You all know that human race has been facing infectious epidemics since ages, like plague, cholera, smallpox, etc. Smallpox was the most feared lethal virus infection 100 years back. But with the availability of effective vaccines, the menace was contained. So today nobody is worried about smallpox. But in the 21st century, a series of viral infections broke out like SARS, H1N1, Nipah, etc. that killed many people in different parts of the world. But none of them grew to the pandemic level as the present COVID-19 or novel corona has. This has become a threat to people all over the world with no country, no climate, no community or ethnic group spared. So why COVID-19 is more dangerous than the earlier viral infections? One is the speed of its spread. In a span of 3 months, it spread globally, infecting more than 500,000 people around the world and killing about 4 lakhs people in 6 months. And there are no vaccines against it. And we don't know yet when it will be available. No proved medicines are there. So in short, there are no effective methods to check and contain the spread of the infection. So the only preventive measures are physical barriers, reducing the risk of spread through contact by social isolation, stay home, stay safe. Then social distancing, avoid groups, keep distance 1.5 to 2 meters between people. Then personal hygiene, frequent washing of hands, wearing gloves, then handling things. Then personal protection by wearing masks, prevent direct contamination through mouth and nose. These are the only measures available for prevention of spread now. Then there is an uncertainty regarding the future. The early implementation of lockdown reduced initial spread of infection in India compared to several other countries like USA, where the death toll went up to almost 1 lakh or above. Then recently, the return of the people from infected areas and other countries are tilting the scale in favor of the coronavirus. A fast increase in the number of affected people and death rate is seen during the last few weeks in India. This is raising the alarm, and there is uncertainty regarding how long till normalcy will be returned. And according to the World Health Organization, COVID-19 is going to stay with us for some more time. So the points of concern are increase in the number of people who need constant surveillance, testing, isolation can complicate the problem due to shortage of quarantine facilities, test materials and qualified health personnel, hospital facilities. People under observation are escaping from the vigilance of health workers and mingling with people in the public, leading to spread of the virus through social contact. Even the police cannot help sometimes. Then uncertainty as to how long we have to live with this threat, as already I told you. Research so far has not yielded any vaccines against COVID-19. There are a lot of work going on in different parts of the world, but nobody is able to tell how soon an effective vaccine will be available for public. And possibility of developing other symptoms at the physical and emotional levels. Examples, in the case of SARS in 2003, symptoms linked to the brain like headache, dizziness, loss of smell, loss of taste, muscular pains, and weakness have been reported. And even in the case of COVID-19, loss of smell and taste are being reported in some cases. Then there are long-term effects to be anticipated. Possibility of developing physical, emotional, and psychological problems in the survivors and their families cannot be ruled out. Now, what are the causes of mental and emotional problems? Financial crisis due to loss of income during the lockdown period, then increase in the number of people without job due to cut down in staff on account of financial loss, especially in small business organizations, and people who lost job and returned from abroad. So, difficulty in giving health care and home care to old and sick is another problem. Emotional trauma due to death and isolation of family members, because when a corona infected person dies, family members cannot go and participate or stay near the person, console. That is creating a lot of mental trauma. So what are the effects on mental health? Man is a social being and requires contact and interaction with fellow humans. When this is denied against their will, that is through social isolation, family quarantine, deprivation of social contact and proximity can result in stress, feeling of loneliness, isolation anxiety, this is already being reported, fear of diseases, fear of death, can lead to insomnia, then boredom can lead to irritation, anger, and also depression. Some may even start suicidal thoughts and attempt to suicide. A survey has suggested that stress and isolation, anxiety are already affecting the public. Older people are more vulnerable. In the case of the SARS epidemic in 2003, a 30% increase in the suicide rate was observed in people aged 65 and above. So depriving social contact and group activities like going out for a walk with friends, visiting friends, entertaining visitors, spending time with peer group, all are retired people going out and sitting and chatting, all are denied. So this can increase the feeling of loneliness, insecurity, boredom, and fear of death in the aged. And people in that age group will have other health problems like diabetes, hypertension, cardiac diseases. They will be affected more. And according to a WHO report, as the coronavirus pandemic rapidly sweeps across the world, it is inducing a considerable degree of fear, worry, and concern in the population at large, and among certain groups in particular, such as older adults, care providers, and people with underlying conditions. Now, middle-aged and young people can have other problems because they are given the responsibility to look after the family and children's education, health. They will be affected by the financial crunch, joblessness, and those with dependent people like aged parents, relatives, sick people will find it more difficult to manage. They may also suffer from guilt feeling resulting from the inability to provide for their dependents. This can still increase stress and related problems that can lead to physical diseases, cause frustration, helplessness, depression, and even suicidal thoughts. Now, children, especially the teenagers, will be greatly affected by social isolation, as their interaction mainly is with the peer group. Confinement to home is the worst punishment they can think of. So they will suffer from boredom and lack of purpose, which can lead to irritation, anger tantrums, violence, violent behavior. Then only resort may be mobile phones and social media that can lead to addiction to mobile phones and social media. Already our young people are getting into addiction to mobiles. This can be increased. Then for these people, there may be a tendency to try to break the physical restrictions and escape, mingle with their own group, leading to spread of infection. Then smaller children will feel bored with nothing else to do. Here the parents and elder siblings can help them in overcoming the boredom by spending quality time with them, engaging them in some activities, playing with them, involving them in different games, teaching new things, instill reading habits, try to recognize their talents and promote them. So, these are the immediate effects can have, but we have to think of the effect which can be anticipated in the future after effects of corona pandemic. Even though it is too early to predict the scenario after COVID-19, there are some effects that are in store. A major offshoot being financial crunch with a significant impact at the global level. Job insecurity, people returning from other countries after losing job may find it difficult to get job opportunities in their country of origin, increasing the unemployed and the financial burden on the family and the state. This can create more stress, anxiety, fear, frustration, compounded with anxiety for caring for the old and invalid, leading to helplessness, insomnia, related problems, even deep depression. Then there may be effect on the physical health also, like stress can reduce immunity. So immune deficiency can increase susceptibility to infections, reduce tolerance to climatic changes and allergic conditions, loss of sensations like smell and taste is already being reported in some cases. And in tropical countries like India, onset of monsoons can enhance other infections, complicating the condition. So what could be the coping strategies? Immediate measures to cope with isolation anxiety could be maintain contact with family and friends on phone, through social media. Those quarantined at home, they can communicate with their family members. And during lockdown, when the whole family is sitting at home, this is a time you can utilize to spend quality time with family members, because many people don't have time for the family. So that can create closeness between the family members. You can play games, light talks, enjoy the time together, which will reduce the anxiety and stress and create more closeness among the family, which is lacking in many families now. Then you can develop hobbies, music, reading books, other activities to overcome boredom. Then older people can spend time with grandchildren. They can be involved in productive activities, storytelling, reading, then play vocabulary increasing games like word puzzles with children. They can help them. Then develop support groups within the family, self-help, online discussions. And this may be a time to recognize the hidden talents and promote them and develop them. Always time to learn something new, because you may have postponed certain things due to lack of time. So this may be a time to learn something you wanted to do, like music, painting, craft, cooking. And with the sedentary life most of us are leading now, physical health is really a compromise. So this may be a time for improving physical health. Learn yoga, pranayama. If somebody has a writing talent, they can start writing stories or some articles. Those confined to home can find ways to give emotional support to others through direct communication, phones, online social groups. Then what professionals can do? Psychologists, counselors, social workers can form support groups and help those in need of professional counseling through distant counseling on phone, social media, video programs, etc. Train caregivers in preliminary counseling. Another way is teach self-hypnosis and auto-suggestion. This has been found to be very good for personal improvement. And do online training in yoga and breathing exercises. There is a program for empowerment, confidence boosting. This is very helpful in coping with the problems. So in conclusion, we have to accept that COVID is of concern because of the uncertainty regarding when it will be brought under control. During this time, taking care of the physical and mental health of the population is of utmost priority. Even after it is brought under control, the main challenge to the health professionals and the society will be to make people prepared to face the possible after effects. Counseling and empowerment at the mental level can help survivors to accept the situation and utilize coping measures, self-help, yoga, pranayama, self-hypnosis, and auto-suggestions. And hypnotherapy is a fast and effective method to remove fear and anxiety, build confidence and optimism. It enables people to face the challenge boldly and emerge out more confident, determined, and positive. So there are several ways we can try to cope with the immediate problem as well as the after effects. But there is a concentrated work, group activities in this. The people who are eligible and people who are trained this counseling, etc., can form self-help groups and help the people in need, so that together we can face the problem, overcome it, and come victorious, merge out more confident, victorious. So, thank you for listening.